I'm so grateful to be seated with you here tonight, Jennifer. Thank you for joining us at the District House.
It's wonderful to be here. Some new faces, some faces that I already know. So super fun, and I'm excited to be here. Thank you.
Yes. And the art of receiving feels like such a potent topic already. Yeah, I'm hearing some deep breaths with it already. So I want to invite you to open the space in a way that feels true for you.
Thanks. Yeah, I first and foremost want to just send out an energetic blast of gratitude to all those that I glorify. Well, because there have been many, in lots of forms, in lots of shapes, in lots of ways. And so just a blast of gratitude, of thanks for all of that. And for the lands that we walk on, sit on, or are able to be with, for all those who have stewarded it before us, a blast out of thank you tonight. I want to invite us into some breath. Would you be open to that?
Yes, please.
Awesome. And so if you're willing, let's plant our feet on the down. And we're going to take 5 deep breaths in, inviting you to close your eyes if you're right. I invite you to just drop down and sink into that chair and let it just hold you. Nothing to do. It's just here for you, that support you're sitting on. Freely available, here always. How much can you receive? Just relaxing into the chair. 5 deep breaths in through your nose and then out through your mouth. Let's do it again. Return to natural breath now. And just let yourself be free. And come on back whenever you're ready into this realm of the art of receiving. Letting your heart be open, letting your mind stay open, letting yourself know that you're safe. So it could just be free. Oh, cool, right? Oh, yummy. Thank you.
I heard you just say an invitation around letting our hearts be open. So let's hear more about how having an open heart is related to the seeding.
Yeah. So I believe that we come into this world as babies, just knowing how to receive, right? We're really incredibly open as babies. In fact, babies' brains are very plastic from a biological, neurological perspective, they're just like able to like morph around, are incredibly like resilient. They just like know how to like, do the whole squishy thing, That's why we sort of squish them, right?
Yeah.
And the oxytocin that babies are constantly emitting is also really keeping them in a state of openness. So we come in just incredibly ready and available and open, heart wide open to receive my gift until it gets conditioned out of us. Så jeg ser bare ned som noen saker. Yeah. Yeah, can't you feel that? Yeah. Can't you feel the grief of that? Let's just feel the grief of that for a minute. That's sad. Doesn't that hurt just a little bit? It should. It's important to feel it so we can heal it. Because it gets conditioned through half of us. Comes in things like how it sounds kind of like, right? Don't be groovy. You have to earn it. It's better to give than it is to receive. What else? Anyone else? Keep thinking of anything else that you may be heard that blocked or conditioned receiving.
It's fear. Fear was most of it. Fear is a big piece of it. For sure.
Fear, shame, anger. Yeah. Yeah.
Lack.
Scarcity, right? That's really the mind, the mental storytelling that we start telling ourselves stories, right?
Yeah, it's not safe to receive.
It's not safe to receive, because then what?
Yeah.
Yeah. I remember I helped some clients that were preparing for Shark Tank. And they're biodegradable material. And they were cut at the time, became straw, and now we're replacing plastic material for companies like Pepsi. So we're looking at them. And I'll never forget me and spent months preparing them. I gave them like 100 questions investors are going to ask you. I've been raising money for years for my companies, for other companies. And I like lined up a whole like panel of sharks and prepared them, like grilled them, like they were like ready. They knew their business in and out. They did. But the day before, they went on to that stage. We were in Los Angeles from New York City. And they were just botching it bad. They're botching it bad. And it wasn't because they didn't know it. So it's like, hey, come here. What's going on? Come sit down. Let's cut a part of this. We did. And then they create this space for the fear. Right? Create the space for the scarcity. Create the space so that it can have a voice. Oh, I'm afraid that actually if we do get funded by these sharks, what does it mean to have a celebrity investor? Will they come and just take over our company? Right? And so let it have the voice. You know what? Sat there like 2 hours, just like the what ifing, the what ending, and talking it all the way through. Let them feel it all the way through. And then the what and, right? So they could get to a place of like strength and empowerment in themselves, knowing that it didn't matter. that they were in charge. They can make a decision right there on the stage, whether they wanted that or not. Do we want you? Right? Yeah. Those ladies walked out on that stage the next day and freaking nailed it. They landed one of the biggest and best Shark Tank deals in its history. Walked out with a better deal than they ended up asking for, which is unheard of. But that's the power of receiving yourself. We get unconditioned from that. Woo! Okay. Yeah, can we talk about frogs? Can we talk about mushrooms? Can we talk about Hyundais today? Can we talk about hearts? And all the things, right? Yeah. Frogs. The symbolism of frogs. Frogs in so many different cultures represent abundance. Did you know that?
I didn't know that.
Yeah. Can we think of the money frog from China? The goddess, the frog-headed goddess, Hemket, out of Egypt. We think of the native tribes who thought frogs as being the water bearers, bringing the water. In Celtic tradition, which is my background, the folklore, it's all about prosperity and abundance. I remember I was 3 years old, and I was in Oklahoma, and there were like all these hundreds of tiny little baby frogs, and I was like wearing these blowholes, and I was just like, I wanted to like put the baby frogs like everywhere, inside like everything, and I just wanted to tuck them all in there. They're so cute, right? And of course, Mom wouldn't let me do that, but I just wanted to receive all that abundance. I wanted to tuck it all in and be with it, and so cute, right? Yeah.
You gotta kiss the prince to get the frog to get the prince.
Oh yeah, Green wasn't heard about this, right? Just a lot of tunes, lovely. It's interesting because in cardiovascular research, they had actually done a lot of study of frogs and their hearts because they have 3 different channels. Valves, thank you. Chambers. Oh, chambers. Yes, chambers, heart chambers, 3 different heart chambers. And they go through quite a transition, quite a transformation from being in amphibian heart and body to being a mammalian. And so they go through this whole process. And so they've really been quite studied in heart research for its ability to really be resilient and open and flexible, kind of like a baby when they come in. Why is an open heart essential in the art of our searing? The heart, when it's open in the body physiologically, it's allowing the blood to flow freely. It's allowing the oxygen to do its job, right? It's allowing the flow of the organs to do what they need to do. A healthy, regular, open flow of the heart is what creates ultimately well-being in our body. I mean, of course, there's a lot more than just that. But that is a essential part that without it, our well-being drops very, very quickly. From an emotional, spiritual, energetic place, an open heart, it's essential to receiving. We know, don't we? This isn't new information. We know. We just forget along the way. We just get lost along the way. We just get hurt along the way. Get a lot of howies. Was how I said, like, ooh, right? But it's essential for the art of receiving. Why? Why? You told me. We know. Why?
There, you have to have an open mind and open heart to receive that being the same page now to receive.
Yeah. What else?
As we soften, her energy softens, and you can allow things in, and we can.
Yeah.
It's trainability, and gotta get into divine flow.
Yeah.
If it's not open, it's not flowing.
It's not it's simple.
And it doesn't allow for an exchange in energy.
Yeah. Yeah, you know, in the world of money, we know that the science is teaching us. And by the way, I'm working on a PhD in financial planning at the moment. And so I'm diving into all the cool research around that. And we know at this point that 90% of our financial decisions are being made based on our emotions. And so if fear is, for example, controlling our emotions, or if shame, for example, are controlling our emotions, or if anger are, for example, controlling our emotions, then one client, you might not be really willing to invest because we're afraid that we're going to get taken advantage of.
Yeah.
Or we're continuing to live in a cycle of debt because we're so ashamed to tell anybody. Like my husband that, I took out $100,000 loan from and didn't tell him. Those clients. Or I'm trying to control my children through money because I'm so angry that my husband left. Oh, it's a shit human. And most of us are never good for you. Hi, welcome. Okay, the hearts. Let's take a poll for just a minute. On a scale of 1 to 5, how would you rate your receiving skills? Take a look. Take a look at the one side. Take a look at the other side. And where would you rate yourself? It's just like a little mini snapshot.
Are we exposing our results here?
I'm just letting them sneak it in for a minute. I'm thinking, should we? Like, should we do a little, raise of hands? Yeah. Are you willing? Okay, if you're at 1, here's your name. 2. Have we got a 3? We've got some 3s. Okay, how about 4s? Okay, got some 4s. How about 5s? How about 5s? Right. Right. Good job. On just naming it and self-observing, taking a moment to just look at yourself. Like, let me see where I'm not, and be honest. Being honest with yourself about what's true. Good job. Would it be all right if I shared my story?
Yeah, I was gonna say, the way that you're sharing already, you're obviously an expert in this field of receiving. And that may cause an observer to think that you've always been this way. But I would love to hear more about your journey of remembrance. What's guided you to not share this wisdom of your clients or our audience?
Gorgeous. Yeah, let me just start with. Ode has been quite a journey. Yeah, I can pinpoint the very first moments in which my heart began to close. I can pinpoint that back to that three-hill who watched they saw big frogs. Who, in Oklahoma, like I was listening to my parents fighting behind their closed bedroom door. My father was punching holes in the walls and then walks out the door. And then my mother's sitting there on the bed crying next to the cut up credit cards. I go to work. She says to me, "Father's leaving, he's not coming back, and we don't have any money." Well, that was all built on it. You can imagine what I made that mean. I'm not enough. I'm not lovable. I actually like something's wrong here. He never came back. My mom checked out. She didn't know how to be in this world with the sensitive being that she is, the sweet, sensitive being that she is. She just didn't know how to do it. And she just checked out. God bless her. I love her. That was a lot for a 3-year-old. And my brother, who's 2, rock, an absolute rock, right? But I carry that forward, you all, because I wanted to then step into the role of saving my mother, right? Oh, I can make mom better again. All of the stories we tell ourselves. Who even asked me to do that? Nobody. But I did. And so within my design, my human design, my full design, I walked forward and thought that I had to do a lot of proving of myself. That I had to look a certain way and behave a certain way and do all the things and make all the money and have all the stars and have all the success. Have all the accolades and have all the real estate and have the money in the bank. And so I did that. But it didn't feel very good inside. And I was like, this can't be it. This can't be it. You hear me? Anyone else? It's not my journey. We all have our unique journeys, but at the same time, it's not so unique for somebody. Oh, I've done my work, you all. I watched myself home. And psychedelics is a big part of that journey. There was a turning point for me, 2014. I was running a wholesale shopper company called Midmore. We had started in 2009, grew massive. And my partner, my business partner, my co-founder, and the investors were going at it one day, having a big old fight. And I was so disgusted. I was disgusted by how we were relating around money and how we were receiving each other and being with each other. I had had enough. So I resigned as CEO. Walked out the door. I actually just exited the company, got bought out last year, so I can exit in business. Cool. That was a turning point for me. it was like kind of the first point in choosing myself. Because it gets to a point that we have to just choose ourselves. Because you know what? We matter a lot. I matter a lot. I took myself to a 10-day Vipassana silent meditation retreat. That was some serious medicine. That was like, the way that I came out describing that was like doing emotional surgery with a really sharp scalpel in a very safe environment. It was awesome. It was a real turning point for me to be able to learn how to listen to me, to tune in to this. Because I had made everything else out there more important. But it wasn't. Okay, so that's where it came from. All right, so we can choose again. Oh yeah, sure can. There's all kinds of medicines. I believe in life that there's a medicine and a poison in everything. Everything has medicine and poison. I do like to work with some medicine of all kinds. I landed in Santa Barbara a few years after I resigned. Santa Barbara whispered to me. Santa Barbara calls me here. I didn't know anybody, had no reason to be here, but I think Santa Barbara was like, get here. Okay. So I did. And I landed here into this gorgeous community up off of the 154. And I had never done a psychedelic in my life at that point. And I started with the frog medicine, DMT, straight on in. And that medicine offered me realignment, a recalling and a realignment with my heart. It offered me what it did was it took a massive, incredible laser like hose full of light straight up my pussy, all the way up my chakras. It fully realigns me. Shot the light straight on fucking through and showed me how incredibly powerful I am. And then I just started crying, apologizing for how sorry I was for forgetting. Yeah, right? So beautiful, isn't it? Yeah. Me too. I have that too. So beautiful, so beautiful. Yeah. Thank you for that reflection. I received that. And it's important to integrate, y'all. It's important to integrate. I'm going to say it again. You all, it is important to integrate. Do you hear me? Okay, that's some mama love coming out. Because receiving isn't just about getting. Receiving is about allowing and absorbing and embodying. And that takes time. Just like the seasons and cycles of nature and life, it takes time. In January of 2021, I got the pleasure of meeting ayahuasca. She was so sweet to me, so gentle. I had done a lot of work at that point already. And she showed me that my heart was like a frog. And that on the heartbeat, that I could take all the pain and I could turn it into love. And so I started that journey and started swallowing up all the pain, mine, and anything I was seeing around me, and I would just let it transmute into love. And part of that integration period, so this was May 2021, I was literally bought off of a horse, and the impact crushed my L2, 3, and 4. And I lost my ability to walk, and I was told I had a 10% chance of ever walking again. They installed these 2 titanium rods and 8 screws into my spine. They told me that if I did ever walk again, it was going to take a year to 2 to be able to get some allergies. But that day, I chose that that was not my story. I decided exactly what I wanted. I said, I'm going to walk out of this rehab hospital off of narcotics at a pain threshold of 4 or less. 14 days later, I walk it out. Ayahuasca was a big one for me. She took me in deep to open my heart fully. Because as I lay in that hospital, I got the opportunity to have a master class in the art of receiving. The art of receiving all the pain, nerve, bone, muscle. And I started literally welcoming all of the pain in. I said, pain, you're welcome here. Foreign material, you're welcome here. You're welcome here. In order for me to receive all of that pain, it required me to surrender, to soften, to just be with what was, accept fully what is. And so I did. And the moment that I would go and I would trace it all the way to the point that hurt, help. I would give it all of my attention, all of my love, I would just keep saying, it's okay, just open. And then it would. And then the pain would move. It was just a sensation. No longer pain. And I kept doing that for hours until I would pass out from exhaustion. It opens my heart. That power that DMT revealed, I got to practice. In real time, big time. I could keep going, but you get the point here. I had to start paying attention to myself. I had to start giving fully, deeply to myself. I had to step deeply loving myself. I went into a chrysalis. I call it my midlife chrysalis. I think it's a book. I think it's a book. But then, I started also experimenting with myself, you all. I started doing a lot of self-sciencing. Called self-sciencing. I think we're the greatest adventure of our life. I do. I freaking love going in and doing self-examination. I love getting to know myself. I freaking love it. I get juiced off of it. It is orgasmic for me. I love getting to know myself every day now. Every day now. Self-sciencing, but it's been a journey. It's been a journey. I had some medicine with my Hyundai. I moved here from New York City without a car. And then I moved in and up on that 154, and I didn't have cars. Experimenting was like, let me just see if I can get away with not now. Especially when there's the largest fires in the history of California at that time happening. And I'm like, I'm not gonna get stuck up here. So I just ran and I found this Hyundai Accent that was $2,500. And I'm like, okay, now you have to understand, previously my historical self was always buying myself a brand new car. Okay? But that is a terrible financial spend. Horrible. And sure, we can make space for it, right? We can make space for it when you actually have certain things. You've got the security and blah, 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 right? We can have that conversation another time. But really, for me, who I want to be on this planet, I don't want to put my money into those things anymore. That's just me. It's not for everybody else, right? When I got this Hyundai, and I started driving it around, and it was not an energetic match for me. And its color, it was just this sky blue, was just so not like me. But here's what started happening. I started noticing that how I was being with this car was ridiculous. I would drive it and I would park all the way at the end so no one would see me. Oh yeah. I remember driving down to Malibu. One of my gal pals, Lavinia Dorigo, who's the co-founder of Equinox Gins. I was driving to her big old mansion, and in this little car, and I'm literally thinking, I'm gonna find somewhere, because she lives in a whole gated community. I'm gonna find somewhere to park that's not right where I have to drive it onto her mansion. I'm gonna try to figure this out. Sounds exhausting. Oh, awful. I'm super weird. So I just started noticing that I was doing that. I'm just calling myself out. And I was like, oh, this car is medicine. This car is my medicine. Medicine comes in many forms. I did tell you I like medicine, and in all kinds of forms. So I was making myself a promise. I was I'm not going to get over this vehicle until I no longer feel embarrassed about it. And so then I was letting it work me, but it took some years actually. Because I would show, here I am, a money therapist, shut up this little bit. And I'm man, what are my clients gonna think about me? I'm am I not creating safety for the whole freaking story, about how other people are perceiving us? Whether it's a car, like whatever it is, doesn't matter. Right? The stories we run with ourselves, even about what other people think that we're trying to control or trying to manage. It's not our job to manage them. You guys, girls, y'all. It's not our job. Stop trying to do other people's job. Just do your own. No, it's enough just doing our own. It's way more fun too. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. So, anyhow, got to the point where I'll never forget, it was actually the next time that I was going out to Lavinia's house. I was like, I don't really care anymore. Doesn't matter anymore. Ooh. Like gone, it was gone. It's gone. And I was like, I want to keep this cheap little thing. Like, went on a spiritual journey all the way out to Canada with my dog in the back, and like, you know, we spent we went through some stuff. So I was just like, let's just pimp my Hyundai. So we painted green, like, did it up, got the like new hubcaps. Super cute. Much more energetically matched. And everything's our booty. Liberation, because I liberated myself. I liberated myself from needing to worry or manage someone else's perception of me. Amen. Amen. Right? Amen. Yeah. Yeah, but that's the fun. That's the fun that we can have with ourselves and using medicine to play with ourselves, ignore stuff, massage up conscious, half of ourselves, right? Okay, that was fun. Thanks for listening. I'm like, oh, but wait, that was, yeah, I'm not done. That was some jokes. I've got more.
I would like to respond to this car piece because it's so relatable and I really appreciate you sharing. And I, like, within my community, we call it car karma. Yeah. And there's a lot of stuff there if we choose to receive that medicine. That's right. And I really feel like although you've niched into money as a focus of your work, the larger framework that you're offering is choosing to receive every experience as medicinal. And so whether that is how someone else behaves when you're on the road, or what happens when you go to the store and they're out of the thing that you went for, you know, all of these opportunities are showing us where we can further integrate our awareness and cultivate more responsibility. And I always share, like, on what you said, that just gives us more insight as to where we can love and embrace ourselves. So it deepens intimacy with ourselves, which is then offered when we do open into relationships. So I love your passion around wanting to do the work, wanting to be curious. And I feel like that also increases your magnetism and your ability to receive.
Absolutely. What she just said. Yes. You know, and I think through the journey, what really happens in my ability to receive was starting from this place of receiving myself, and accepting myself fully for all of it. Right? The shadowy bits. I still have shadowy bits. Do you? That's okay. We're seeing all of the shadowy bits. That's cool. You know, we don't need to make it bad or good. Like, it's medicine and poison of, and we need all of it to magnetize all of it, and then we get to choose. We get to be discerning about what we want. And I'm gonna go through here in a moment, like what I see as, you know, the formula for the art of receiving. But I really came through this journey, a very long journey, you know, very like of alchemizing pain and turning it into something beautiful. And in the journey of like my heart closing and what that did, and trying to self-love but doing it for self-harm, and then finding my way back to opening my heart, right? And then beginning into the practice of keeping my heart open. That is a daily practice. It's not like once and done. It's a daily practice. It's a way of living. It's a way of being. It's a way of vibrating. And what I've really come to learn in this journey is that our wealth is so much more than just about money, you all. I don't care if it's defined in the dictionary or through the United Nations or anywhere else as a possession. I don't buy it. I'm not buying that. Instead, I have come to learn in my own life, in my own journey, my own observation with others, is that it is so much more. There's a holistic aspect, because if our finances, if it's true that our finances, 90% of them are based on our emotions, and our emotions are often very connected to our thoughts and what we're thinking, and then often what's happening inside of our bodies. All of this stuff is all connected and all integrated. So therefore then, and also, is wealth. And these things are all connected. And if we're only considering one aspect of our exchange and valuing it in terms of money and dollars, we got it wrong, but we know that because it's not working so well out there in the world. And we know that too. We can see it. We're living it. We're having the existence of it because it's come from a history of the 60s and the 70s and the wars that we had, that our grandparents and our great-grandparents came from, trauma that they didn't heal, and all of that emotion and pain they carry forward, and so have we, and so we can begin to understand how we've arrived at where we are right now. And we can start to have compassion for them and for it and for all and for ourselves. And come back and remember, like we were talking about earlier, right? It's not our job to do that work. It's our job to do ours. And holistic wealth is that. It's the journey of doing our work and taking the art of receiving. Starts with a lot of subtraction before you get to the law of attraction. We gotta get some stuff out of the way. We gotta clear some stuff. We gotta move some stuff. The stuff that we maybe adopted or inherited, the stuff that maybe not even ours, the stuff that we've taken on, the stuff that we've done, right? We've gotta maybe have they call it a heart poop. Have some good heart poops. Because they lead to heartgasms. But we've got to go through the law of subtraction to make space for the heart to be open to receiving what it is that we want to attract. Does this make sense? Yeah. Yeah, it makes sense to me. I mean, I'm a living journey of it. And then self-science, right? Tell yourself about the judgment. Oh, I know that sounds so much easier than it actually is. But hey, I live in a playground of it, so if you're interested, just come hang out with me. And then adopt the perspective. Ah, this is so key. This is so hard. This is so key. Adopt the perspective that life is happening for and with us. With you. It is not happening to you. It is happening for you. I don't care what's happening. It's happening for you. I had some shit go down. It was happening for me. I can sit here and say that from a place of having lived some stuff. Life is happening for and with us. If we sit, we can be victimized, but choosing to be a victim is a mindset. We don't need to stay there, right? We can actually choose how we see it and then become masterful at pulling out the gold, pulling through the lessons. And you know what? Gratitude is not just about all the blessings that feel good. Gratitude is about all the tough stuff. Oh, thank you, anger, for showing me where my boundary has been crossed and where I need to create restoration. Thank you, shame. Thank you, fear. Thank you, fear, for showing me how I need to get into clear action. Thank you. That's cool too. That's receiving too. You hear me? Being able to be in the art of receiving is receiving all of it. All of it. Ooh. Right? The heart, the frog, ooh. Right? All of it. Swallowing and transmuting. I love Michael Singer's book, The Untethered Soul. I'm a big fan. I've read it so many times. I've given it to almost all of my clients. Jacob, I'm sorry I haven't given it to you yet. I will. But in it he talks about the samskaras, right? The scars that get trapped in our hearts and then we hold on and how it starts to accumulate. But when we can open our heart and let it move through, then it doesn't get stuck in, and then we can keep flowing, and then we can literally be like this, y'all. Because we can allow the sun rays to come fill us completely wholly, and then out through our stomach is an amplification of light into the world without any effort. We become magnetons. We literally become so powerful prisms. You are a powerful prism. But how open and available are you to let it flow through you? Come have some heart poops so you can get to the heart gases. Okay. You gotta also get clear about what you want. So damn clear. Crystal clear. I wanna walk out of this hospital, off of narcotics, at a pain threshold of 4 or less, because then you know exactly, your brain knows exactly where to go and what to do. Then your job is put 100 or at least 80% of your attention on that intention and all your action to follow, and it's impossible not to manifest it. Making the move to reality. That's manifesting 101. Okay, that's the formula. If you want more, come talk to me in a little bit. And I've given a sheet here as well for you to take home. And this is part of an opportunity, an invitation for you to start doing some self-science for yourself. This is an opportunity to dig into your first money memory. It doesn't need to be a painful, unloved mind. Maybe it's a beautiful one. But choose one that is emotionally charged, positively, negatively, when we use that terminology. right? But that has an emotional charge. And work with that through this exercise. And you know what? I would love it if after you do this, you send me an email and let me know how this was for you. Would you do that?
Yeah.
My email is jlove, write it down, jlove@jenniferlove.com.
Good to me.
Yeah,
Solid to me.
spend some cash on that. Okay. I was using meditation.
Just do
Would you be open to a meditation?
Yeah.
And then we'll get into some questions and open it up for questions. Or should we do the questions and then meditation? What do you feel like? What do you want?
Next.
Meditation. Okay, so I'm going to invite you to close your eyes. And I'm just saying a big thank you for being here again tonight and receiving all this tonight for yourself, letting your own heart leap in, and letting yourself be free. Nice deep breath in. And out. We have splintered off from our wholeness and often spend our days in search of others to fill this hole we feel echoing in and of. We say, "Love me," to another. We say, "Give to me what is lacking." We say, "Bring me to rare love." We say, "Heal what aches." We say, "Fill what feels too hollow." We say all of these things to the people that walk in and out of our lives, never to find the one, never to find the perfect person who can give us what we are so desperately wanting. The discomfort you feel in life, the separation, the rejection, the alienation, the sense that you are not enough, is because you are living in the space between your two selves. You're living in the reality that you are lacking, in need of filling, because you have become separate from your own heart. Once you find your way back to your hearts, you will realize that there is nothing you are in need of. You'll realize love is yours to give to yourself. With daily practice, we begin to feel what once felt empty. The art of receiving begins with fully opening our heart to receive ourselves. Before we can truly receive from others, we must first attune to receiving from ourselves. Becoming masterful at the art of receiving is innate in all of us. We entered knowing exactly how to do it, naturally. The conditioning, the stories, the habits, the closed heart turned our natural ability off. Turning it back on is a practice of mastery to return to an open heart. Take a deep breath in. What once felt desperate becomes hopeful. We become round and plump with our own love. We stitch together the divide we created between ourselves. We step into our whole version of self. We have realized we have been the one, we have always been the one, who can bring our lives back into the sustained place we dream of. What we look for from others is fundamentally our work. With every day we endeavor to love another, we too must learn to endeavor to love ourselves first. In doing so, we fill our own needs first. Others who so graciously give love to us then only add to our already full store of love. No longer divided ourselves. We then swim completely immersed in love. We no longer splinter, we remain whole. All other love we receive then uplifts us to higher levels of love. It does not need to work. We do not need to work so hard to fill our aching gaps. When we have done, when we are full into balance and alignedness, led by the heart, the vulnerability you need in this space then breaks down our barricades and our suffering. It is love in its purest form. Breathe now again. And in this moment, allow yourself to feel you are safe here to allow all of your emotions to be heard, to be felt. Please place one hand over your heart and one hand over your belly. And hold yourself and repeat after me. I love you. I love you. I love you. I love you. You deserve nothing but love. Together to perfect. Yes, we deserve to be draped and wrapped and cocooned in love. You are not lacking of this. It is yours here within you. There is a never-ending supply of it. Just be here and drink your own nature. You are love. You are loved. You are love. Take a deep breath. And let yourself just be. And with you, right? Thank you for leading us to that cactus, and I feel the resonance of the field just starting to open to receive more. And something that I was reflecting on as you were speaking and through that meditation is opening to miracles. And I've spoken to other District House guests about this before, but I feel your resonance and your yes to that.
but it seems like you have lived through many miraculous experiences. And so I feel you hold that vision for other people's potential as well, because you know it to be available if they're choosing to receive that medicine too. So I feel curious before we turn it to the audience if you can share a little bit more about your work with clients and what it actually looks like to hold someone through their process of obeying.
Sure. Thanks, Grass. So I primarily work with entrepreneurs, mission-driven entrepreneurs. And I have a collective called Live Well Collective, and in that membership, I'm helping these entrepreneurs build holistic wealth. And we do that, yes, through the financial side of things, but we do it from a very holistic approach to it all. So we get into the financial planning and the relationship with the money, but we get into how that really interacts with all the other areas of our life. And so I have the pleasure of having the front row seat to watching people become the best versions of themselves and live the beautiful life that they want to live and to make an incredible impact in the world doing it. And I feel like I have the best job in the world. And I also am making space and creating a program for those who don't fit into that category, to come and learn how to build wealth. In fact, I'm about to offer wealth salons on a monthly basis where folks can come and, kind of clinic workshop style and start to dig into the different aspects of wealth.
At Lotus Studios?
At Lotus Studios, it sounds like I just got approval. How's fun? So in relationship, in conjunction with Lotus Studios. And so I'm excited to offer that too. And I do a bit of one-on-one work, so if that's of interest, just come have a conversation with me, or send me that email, jwell@jennifermullet.com, and I'm happy to have a conversation with you and explore what your needs might be, and how I could be of support and service to you, opening your hearts and putting more money in your bank account if that's what you want. And what to do with the money that's in your bank account if that's what you want. And so that's what I do. Yeah, that's my offer.
Thank you so much for all that has been shared. I really appreciate your spacious storytelling. And I want to give the audience a moment to breathe and receive all that Jennifer has shared. And we have just under 10 minutes for an audience Q&A. And if you do have a question, you can raise your hand and Becca will bring you the mic.
Thank you. So being here. My name's Sky. Hi, Sky. Hi, thank you for being there.
I feel curious what you would tell someone, or like ignore dimension of heart opening receiving. Like, I feel like many people could relate to this. Like when we get into those really tight stages in our cycle of scarcity or lack, or like there might be part of the month or the season where it's feeling really abundant, and so that you feel more free and like able to spend the things and do the things, and then like you reach that really tight spot again and you're like, how do I get here? Like I'm broke and I can't afford this, and how am I gonna make my next bill, and like you're just in that tightness again. And how would you advise someone to like open their hearts and be able to reopen and manifest what they need in that moment and get actually so the abundance feel?
Beautiful question. Yeah. Yeah. I'm gonna come back to that. It all really starts with perspective. And so my encouragement to you, and listen, I know, 'cause I was there. So I hear and I get it. And if you can adopt more gratitude into your life and make space with that simple practice, right? See, because we hear about it, we've heard so much about it. It's not a new concept. It's not anything that's been taught. We can know something, but are we doing it? Right? So we need to know it's another thing to do or practice. And you don't have to start immediately with being grateful for all the tough stuff, because it's not always easy to go there right away. It's not. Sometimes even I stuff like, I have to. Yes, kind of fine. But getting to that place where you can take inventory and you can start paying attention to what you do have and the blessings that are here right now, and start giving that attention, and you start pouring energy towards it. And it's kind of amazing, as she was saying earlier about miracles, how what we give our attention to starts to multiply. And so I know it sounds so simple, and it is. And I think that's some of the greatest things about life. The hardest lessons are actually the simplest, because we often refuse to actually do that. baby. So before anything else, and I mean, there's a whole series of other things that I could say, but I don't want to right now, because I don't think that's actually the best service of answering a question. I think start there with that. Do that. And see what happens, and then send me an email. I'll be like, here's what's happening. And be like, here's the next step. Okay? Thank you. You're welcome.
As they shared.
Yeah, it's so receiving.
I have just a simple question. I have someone very significant in my life who is having trouble finding a job. What would you say to somebody like that?
To someone who's having a hard time, so are you willing to say it from being a friend? Like you're willing to give compassion and love to your friends?
Yes.
I see. That's a realistic question. I can feel your thoughtfulness in that question. Then your care for your friend. My encouragement is, rather than running to advice, to need a space and like let your friends know that you're here to listen and to be here with them, and check in with yourself and see where you're willing to give, what are you willing to, like, how much energy do you want to put in. To get clear about that for yourself too first.
Right.
Right? And then just create a space, create an invitation for your friend to know that it's a safe place to come talk to you and share with you. And saying it like that immediately kind of creates a safe place. It's that kind of invitation. And if your friend wants to lead into that, beautiful. And if not, okay. And if your friend wants to lean into that, then, wow, what a blessing for both of you. And you could start to get curious with your friends about what your friends needs. Start asking questions, you know, how are you feeling? Where are you thinking? What are you planning? What do you need? Is really, really listen. Listen to not only what's being said, but watch the body language.
Yeah.
Observe the energy. Right? Really, really listen. That's really listening. You're not just always listening to the words, you listen to all of it. Right? Listen to your friend. And just get curious about what's needed and see if what you're willing to give matches what they need. That will be my advice to you.
Thank you.
Hi, I'm Carmina.
Karina?
Yeah. So, what advice would you give to someone who knows nothing about wealth but wants to build some financial wealth? Like, yeah.
That's exciting. I say come hang out in our wealth salons because they're free. That's a waste. Our wealth salons that we're doing with Little Studios, I say come hang out because this is my gift to our community. And I'll show you how to do it.
Cool.
Easy, Kizzy. Where's the easy button?
That's good.
Okay.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
So I'm curious about the laws of attraction follow the law of attraction. So the old school law of attraction was you think about something and you see some objects to attract it. The new school law of attraction is that you heal yourself so you can feel like you deserve it, and then you can raise your internal state to a level of vibration and frequency where you attract it. Is that the same thing as the law of attraction? How does it tie in with the new school of law of attraction?
Yeah. I to be honest, I haven't stayed up on the new school of the law of attraction. But the law of attraction, I like a lot of it. And I also find that there are gaps in it. And that's why I've brought in the law of subtraction. Because and yes, I do think that it ultimately relates to the healing. That as you're saying, the new law of attraction is kind of suggesting. So the law of subtraction is a process of emptying ourselves out from what needs to go. Because when we get to the point of emotional bankruptcy, which I was in, like what I described for you, I had gotten to a place of emotional bankruptcy. And when we get to that point, there's so much that is consuming us. There's so much that's eating away at us. There's so much that's taking us away from ourselves. That's in the way of ourself that we've placed there up. It's just got there somehow, right? The trauma, whatever it is. And so we have to have an emotional colonic. I mean, have to use strong language, but I mean, if we really want to get to where we want to go, we've got to let it flow. And so we've got to clear it out and make way and make space. We've got to Marie Kondo it. Right? And so how much it relates to the no, I'm not sure. So I don't want to speak to something I'm not totally clear about. Great question. I'll get to it. Thanks.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Thank you, everybody, for those questions. I appreciate everyone's asks. Your answers were insightful. And we're going to close out the final few questions for myself. And My request is that you receive your first response and share it bluntly with us.
Solid. Can I say you let's take a sip of water?
Yeah, you're prepared.
New Yorker.
Yeah, awesome. So my first question for you is there a psychedelic or plant medicine that you desire to try but haven't yet?
Yes. Go.
Oh, what's your why on that?
More of an intuitive sense. Yeah.
There's something there.
Yeah. Something there.
For sure. And if you were stranded on an island with only one book, what book would you be reading?
It would be a mythology book.
Oh, those.
No. I've read so many times, it's kind of worrying me. But no, it would definitely be a mythology book. And I'm not sure which one. Can I just state the whole question?
Yeah.
Okay.
A genre.
A genre. A genre. Let's see what goes genre.
And if you couldn't sit in a plant medicine or psychedelic ceremony with anyone, dead or alive, who would be there and live what medicine?
My brother, who is alive, who I love deeply and has walked this life with me as we are rocks for each other. I got to witness his heart start to open 2 years ago after walking out of a 22-year marriage. He is an attorney gone judge who I'm watching just blossom freaking open in an incredible way and start to do some amazing stuff in our criminal justice system for her Rubin place. So, my brother. But I don't know if he will as a judge.
And what medicine do you want to sit with him in?
Ayahuasca.
See him for you guys? Yeah. No?
Color.
Yeah, for sure. And do you perceive us to live in a simulation?
And a simulation.
Based off your personal definition of what that means to you.
Mine, well, you said my reaction, so yes, I do. Going the Marvel 6 again. Yeah, I think who we are is separate from our body. And I think we're divine, powerful beings. And I believe that we are continuing to come in and recycle and alchemize and raise consciousness over and over again. I believe that we are going for life. My last name is Love, and it's chosen. And I chose it years ago. My father was a doctor, by the way, and he was in my life, so what about that or about last name? I'm a fashion for it, right? So it chose me. Chose the thing that I wanted the most and that I wanted to give the most, which was love. And I think that's what these are beingness, our wholeness, our power is coming into alchemize love. And part of what we need to do that law of attraction, which involves so much grief, to get to the joy.
That's beautiful. Thank you. Well, I have super appreciated your shares of our audience tonight, and thank you so much for bringing your holistic wealth wisdom. Oh, there's so much there, right? And this was just an introduction to the wealth of knowledge that I know you embody. So please stay tuned to the Wealth Salon coming soon to a Los
What's a logo studio?
Logo Studio is amazing.
Very nice.
Welcome to Logo Studio.
I didn't know that's where I was.
Yeah. Yeah. What's booth though? Oh.
I am not the person to ask.
Jacob Siddiqui.
It's a form of DMT that's extracted from a specific type of toad that's then smoked. So it's taken through inhalation And oftentimes, people specify when they're using bufo or toad medicine because it is a specific signature of the DMT experience. And it's often also referred to as the spirit molecule or the unity molecule as well. Stay tuned for Death and Psychedelics marquee coming up at the later part of this year.
September 27th.
In September to hear more about Death and Bufo. Cool. Thanks for asking.
Yeah.
Thank you, beautiful community, for joining us tonight. We're going to close out the formal portion of our evening, but everyone's invited to hang. After me and Jacob get our picture with Jennifer, she may be available for a few more questions. So thank you, and we'll see you the next time.
Thank you so much, everybody. Thank you so much. Until once again.